I like that music. It is Sunday night.
Yes.
I would normally be found in church trying to instruct people at this hour. So that type of music is familiar to me. I identify with the truth. God is fighting for us. And God is on our side.
He has overcome. We will not be shaken. We will not be moved. Jesus, you are here.
I thank you for having me here tonight. Lend your ears to what I have to say. I appreciate, Marcia, the invitation that comes from you and Ferdy and the team. Always, 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 I am ready and prepared to open my mouth and to express the sentiments of my heart in the interests of Barbados, notwithstanding who is bothered by that, who is upset by that, who would want to respond to that in negative and dark ways. And I'm glad for the opportunity to be here and to share with us tonight just for a few minutes. And thank you for having me. Governance is a critical component and element in the pursuit and practice of a healthy democracy. Good governance is critical to the pursuit and practice of healthy democratic structures and systems. An opposition presence, opposition power, and I'm very careful to say that, opposition presence is vital if there is to be good governance, if there is to be healthy democratic practice. But opposition power is also critical. There are those who would want to suggest that the government of the day, of any day, and I'm not just talking about this government and this day, the government of the day is the government, that's it, end of it all. A good governance culture requires that there be a healthy opposition presence and a good dose of opposition power which is recognized and respected. Those in Barbados who would not have us to have an opposition with a healthy presence, properly recognized and endowed with some measure, a healthy dose of power, do not operate in the interests of Barbados. Those who are in the corridors of government, of parliament, and who are blind to the fact, that it is not in the interest of Barbados to have this type of one-party dominance, which we are now practicing, they are in fact very blinded. I applaud Ralph Thorne for the decision he took to cross the floor and to give effect to some form of opposition structure and presence in the parliament and in the public domain of Barbados. I hope he gets it right. I'm not getting into Democratic Labour Party business. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about his having the courage to get up one day and to cross the floor, well knowing that as you pursue the interests of Barbados, it is likely that your own personal interests will not be best served. And so you're willing to make the sacrifice and to take the step that others around you are not prepared to take because they are principally so concerned about personal advancement, personal privilege, and personal interests. If you are interested in Barbados, you cannot sit down in a one-party dominant culture and context and not recognize that it needs to be given vent, expression, exposure to opposition opinion, opposition presence, and opposition power.
With a dictator.
Now, when I cross the floor,
Yes.
and I have to tell you that technically, this is not the point, but just in passing, I have to tell you that technically I did not cross the floor. When I moved from one side of the parliamentary structure in Barbados, so to speak, to the other, Parliament had not yet been convened. So theoretically and technically, Joseph Attlee never crossed the floor. I made the step before Parliament was convened. But that's a debate for those who are interested in political theorizing and so forth. The point I want to make, and to use their language, when I crossed the floor, they said he was a good for nothing. He was not to be trusted. He has done it for money. I never asked any one of them for a cent, before nor since. And this is what they said, and some Barbadians believe that. And I have to tell you that I meet many of them now on a daily basis who shout me out and who come up to me and say, now I understand why you did what you did. Tell me if this sounds to you like a man who is motivated by money. Do you know that if I took my position on the backbench of the then parliamentary system under the label of the Barbados Labour Party, so to speak, I would have been given a parliamentary salary? Do you know that if I had taken that parliamentary salary, I would still have been able to work at a job? A minister can't or shouldn't, but a backbencher can. And do you know if I had taken the job and taken the parliamentary salary at the same time, what I would have been earning as income would have exceeded what they were paying to the leader of the opposition?
Yes.
I would have to be foolish if I were pursuing money to take that option and sit as leader of the opposition with the meager remuneration, and oftentimes had to pull my own pocket to meet the needs of the opposition office in Barbados. Because that's something that needs to be examined. Tell me if that sounds to you like a man that's motivated by a desire for money. I have always worked in my entire life. I have been leading a church for a few decades. And even when I was in Parliament, I continued to do that on a daily and weekly basis. And I've always said to the church, I do not want a cent in salary. There are a few church members here tonight, ask them. I have never accepted a cent in salary from the church for all of these decades.
That is good.
Some of you may not know, but I also head our church in the region, and I've been doing that for about 12 years now.
I know.
And they voted me back all the time.
I was in Dominica when you
And that position provides for an allowance for the regional bishop, the regional head, and I've never taken a cent. Never asked them to give it to me, because I've always worked. My wife has always worked, and I felt that we did not have to depend upon the pockets of poor people to survive. And so I didn't take a cent. I lead a church which does not take a cent for any service it offers to the public. So when they come for their weddings and they ask me, Pastor, what do we have to pay? Oh, we don't charge people. When they come for the funerals and how much do we have to pay for the services of the church? No, we don't charge for that. We have never charged a cent. And there are one or two of them who have been critical of me and pushing this view that he did what he did for money, who have come to our church and benefited from our services, and Joseph Attlee never charged them a cent.